Alright, I know I sound like a fucking broken record, and I'm gonna keep saying it, but this is the final 4 days until I'm gone for a while. So, in an effort to still have streams coming up on YouTube at a pretty consistent basis, these next like probably weeks long of streams that you see on like YouTube are probably gonna be shorter things compared to like maybe some other things, especially for the two series, the ongoing series ones that I've been really working on. Umineko here that we're playing now, and Disco Elysium. Those are both going to be like in the next, because I only have like what 4 more days, something like that. I don't know how to math, but uh, maybe not Wednesday, but like today, Monday, Tuesday, very much going to be like I'm gonna be trying to do like two games or two, halves to a stream, for each night. But to do that effectively, then they're gonna probably have to be somewhat shorter. Um, why did I do it like that? So, oh, not PC game. That's why. Try this. There we go. Capture settings. So, I say that because, like, hey, these for the next like I said, especially if you're watching the archive, like if you're sitting, I don't know how you watch me. Are you watching me on your phone right now? Am I on your smart TV? How about your laptop, desktop? Am I being are you watching this like 100 years in the future? And I'm just being beamed to your head right now? Your optical nerves and your auditory nerves? Is that how it works? However you're watching me. The next week of streams, basically, that you'll see on the channel are probably going to be hour longs instead of like hour and a half, 2 hours or whatever, just because I'm trying to build up like a good cluster of streams to then again, like I said, release steadily as I'm gone. So, yeah, just explaining it for the millionth time. I know, you're probably like, Austin, you can shut up. No one gives a shit. But I give a shit. So we're going to start with Umineko tonight because, and I'm doing that strategically because we say Umineko when we do the streams, I like ending at good points and not like in the middle, hopefully if I can help it, moments where like, there's like at a good closing point. That's the best way I can describe it. But if that's the case, if I was doing this and Disco Elysium in a little bit, I can easily end Disco Elysium at like any point. Like that game, you can just like call it a night. Whereas this, I need to see how long or how late this goes. I'm doing a piss poor job of explaining it, but it all makes sense in my head, and that's really all that matters. Alright, okay, so where we were at with Umineko last, we had the great Eva and Natsuhi. I kept wanting to say Rosa. Rosa's dead. Natsuhi fight, while everyone else, I assume, was mostly just watching in either amusement or terror. They were doing their thing, and then they were threatening with violence. Mind you, Natsuhi has a gun. Eva has a fan and a sharp wit and tongue. Not to be outdone. She's got that sharp tongue of hers, which I assume can do just as much damage as a gun. And then we stopped right as Battler came in. Battler, he did like a scoff or something, and then he was gonna go off. So that's where I ended it. So that's where we are. I hope you like my little recaps. My off-the-cuff recaps. Like I said, this will probably be like an hour-ish or so, and then we'll switch to Disco Elysium here for the night. So I should probably load it up, right? There he is. There's that grinning man. That grinning man boy. I should also say, I'm probably gonna touch Umineko every day leading up to when I'm gone. It's probably gonna be Umineko for an hour or so and something else for an hour or so for the next like 4 days. So if I stick with that, again, especially if you're watching archived, you most likely will get Umineko throughout the break. Maybe every other stream. Or if I do Umineko at the second half, then there'll be like that. It's a math thing. I don't know. It makes sense. But I'm expecting it to do, because I want to put, you know, over the next however many days here, I want to put a little more time into Umineko. So it's most likely going to be Umineko and a thing. All makes sense? Aaron, good? Let's read. Battler says,
ダメだな。全然ダメだぜ。
I hate reading when I have like a piece of lettuce definitely stuck in my teeth. This sucks. Anyway, it's useless. It's all useless. Oh, I got it. Look at that. I was pushing around with my tongue and I actually got it. Oh, all is okay. It's all useless, Aunt Eva. What do you mean useless? Jessica looked up at me, hanging on to my every word. Aunt Eva's expression was confident as ever. Useless, you say? What is? Battler-kun. Tell me.
一方からしか見られないから、夏代おばさんしかありえないって思い込んじまうのさ。
You're only convinced it was Aunt Natsuhi because you're only looking at the case from a single angle. Ponder this, Aunt Eva. Have you ever considered to spin the chessboard around?
別に夏代おばさんを擁護するわけじゃないが。
I'm sure he's about to say that.
そんなハッタリのチェックメイトじゃ通用しねえってことさ。
I would bet half of my life savings that he's gonna say it. He's gonna say it either to himself or her. It's not like I'm defending her, but that bluff of a checkmate isn't gonna fly. Oh, we're getting a different chess metaphor. I think your reasoning regarding that receipt was passable. It's not a bad thread of logic. But I'd only give it a grade of 65 at best. And in this case, D's don't get degrees. Bwah, bwah. I like to imagine that Battler, like when he's in this like serious mode, when he's not in like jokey and jovial mode, or he's not in like weird pervy mode, this is a serious mode. And I like to imagine that like in his serious mode, he just is like, every other sentence he says is just a weird metaphor thing. Like he just can't help himself. That's like his shtick. If this were an exam, that'd be bad enough to get you extra lessons in detention, right? I'm so funny.
じゃあレシートで封印されている扉をどうやって破ってお父様を失踪させられるというの？私の説以外に。
Oh my. Well, how do you think anyone could break through the door sealed by my receipt and make father disappear? Other than by my theory. I got tongue-tied there. It's true that your theory is an interesting one.
そしてその説以外にじい様が失踪できる方法がないって言い切れるなら
And if you could say for sure that there was no way to make grandfather disappear,
最終目撃者である夏日おばさんが黒であると確かに言い切れるだろう
then you probably would be able to prove that the last person to see him, Aunt Natsuhi, was guilty.
だが夏日おばさんが無実で濡れ衣である可能性が残っている以上そうだと断言することはできねえ
However, since there is still a possibility she's innocent and these accusations are false, we can't be sure about that.
ならバトラ君は夏日姉さん以外の誰にお父様を失踪させられたというの？
Then, Battler-kun, are you saying someone other than Natsuhi-san made grandfather disappear?
姉さんしかありえないのよ。
It'd be impossible for anyone else to do it.
私のレシートがそれを証明してしまったわ。
My receipt proved that, right? I don't know if it's 100% intentional, but like, I don't know if it's 100% intentional. And I don't know if I caught this before, but it's very interesting that it's a receipt that she used as this kind of like tool where like obviously like a receipt of something is proof of something happening, and she's using the receipt as proof. Like, let me explain that better. A receipt is proof that you bought an item, like an actual receipt. Like the noun item receipt is a thing you buy, or proof that you bought something, right? But she's using the receipt as proof that something happened. Does that make sense? It's end of weekend brain. I'm trying here. I'm trying. My receipt proved that, right? I don't know if I pieced that together last time. I don't think I did. Again, I don't know if that's intentional. Maybe I'm just reading a bit into it, but
一度目に書斎に訪れた夏日姉さん。
after the first time she visited that study,
そして2度目に私と訪れるまでの間、書斎は完全に密室で密室開封後には失踪している。
and until the second time when we visited together, the study was a perfect closed room. And when the seal was broken on the closed room, he was already missing.
これで夏日姉さんが犯人じゃないというなら、どんなトリックがあるっていうの？
If that doesn't prove she's the culprit, what kind of trick could they have used?
だから65点なんだよ、エヴァおばさん。
Like I said, Aunt Ava, only 65 points.
じゃあここで
There he goes. There he goes. There's my boy. So let's try spinning the chessboard around, shall we? God, I really need to do like a spinning the chessboard counter every time that pops up. God, if only I would have been keeping track.
どうやって外部からじい様を失踪させるかじゃない。
The question isn't how someone managed to make grandfather disappear from the outside.
どうやって内部からじい様が失踪するかって考えるんだ。
We should think about how grandfather disappeared from the inside.
扉にはレシートが挟まれていたから使用されていない。
The door had the receipt stuck in it, so it couldn't have been used.
窓も出ることはできても外側からは施錠できず、しかもエヴァおばさんは書斎を訪れた時に窓の施錠を確認している。
He also couldn't have gone through the window because you can't lock it from the outside, and when Aunt Ava visited the study, she checked to make sure it was locked.
だから窓も使用されていない。
So the window also wasn't used.
その時点で確かに書斎は密室だった。
At that point, the study really was a closed room.
これは認めるしかない。
We have to accept this.
だがしかし書斎は永遠に密室だったわけじゃない。
However, the study didn't remain a closed room forever.
レシートの封印さえ解かれれば扉は使用可能になり脱出可能になる。
Once the seal created by the receipt was removed, it'd be impossible for someone to escape by the door.
つまり夏日おばさんがどうやってじい様を失踪させたかじゃない。
In other words, the question isn't how Aunt Natsui made grandfather disappear.
どうやってじい様は書斎を脱出したのかって考えるんだよ。
We need to think about how he was able to escape.
じい様の書斎はただの書斎じゃねえんだよな。
Grandfather's study isn't an ordinary study, right?
源氏さんの話じゃトイレからキッチン、ベッドルームまであるちょいとした家並みじゃねえか。
According to Genji-san, there's a toilet and a kitchen and even a bedroom, almost like a little house.
例えばベッドの下にでも潜って隠れたらおばさんたちは部屋からいなくなったと思い込めるぜ。
For example, what if he was hiding under the bed and the two of you only thought he was missing?
エヴァおばさんもそこまで調べてきたわけじゃねえだろ。
On Eva, even you didn't check that far, right?
そしておばさんたちは失踪したと思い階下へ戻る。
And then the two of you went back down the stairs thinking he wasn't there.
この時レシートはもうない。
At that time, the receipt was already gone.
つまりじい様は密室である間は部屋に隠れ続け。
In other words, if grandfather was hiding in his room the whole time it If grandfather was hiding in his room the whole time it was a closed room,
エヴァおばさんたちをやり過ごした後に部屋から脱出することで
and,
この密室を破ることができる
and escaped after letting the two of you go past him, we can crack this closed room right open.
何よそれ
Man, this whole thing, I don't know if this is indicative of where this game is going to go. If we're gonna have like these little, almost like mini cases or like mini problems to solve, essentially. I don't know how else to describe them. But I do like, at least for this first, what I would say is at least the first, maybe the only one, but at least the first one here. It's like a spin or a take or something. God, I sound like I'm all over the place, don't I? It's a take on a classic, like, what would be the word I'm looking for? Like conundrum or a classic case, like a closed room case. Because, like, those in, like, it's like a classic, like, logic puzzle is the closed room cases where, like, something, you don't know what's happening inside, you have no knowledge of what's happening on inside, you just think that you know what something is in there. And then it's like, okay, so then you have to assume, like, how would some, it's like a closed room case always adds that, like, mysterious level, layer. I'm listening to myself speak. Surprisingly, and I sound like a madman. It's like, okay, think of it like this, like in these games, right? I'm again very familiar with these games. The 999 series, Phoenix Wright, even though I didn't like that series. Don't hate me. Danganronpa, any kind of games like that. They're always like, they always do these things where they take on like classic things, like, you know, like whenever you see like the Monty Hall problem come into into like a thing, like that's a stereotypical one where people are like, oh, you do the fucking, oh, you snap your finger and you point and you're like, that's the Monty Hall problem. I know this thing. That's how I feel about closed room cases as well. Have fun deciphering my ramblings today. We're 15 minutes in. All right, what are you talking about?
どうしてお父様がそんな妙なことをして部屋を抜け出さなきゃならないの
Why would father need to escape the room in such a bizarre fashion?
口頭無形にも程があるわよ
Don't be so absurd.
ああ、口頭無形かもな。
Yeah, it might be absurd.
だが、それでも夏日おばさんが濡れ衣かもしれない可能性は示してる。
However, it still shows that there's a possibility Aunt Natsui is being falsely accused.
エヴァおばさんのレシートは完璧じゃねえ。
Your receipt wasn't perfect. Honestly, your receipt sucks.
チェスで言えばチェックくらいにはなったろ。
In chess, we might call that check.
だが、チェックメイトじゃねえ。
But it isn't checkmate.
そして、俺が最高に気に入らねえのは。
But the thing that really pisses me off
それを夏日おばさんに釈明しろと迫って。
is how
それができなきゃ黒だって断定しようとしたエヴァおばさんのその論法さ。
is how you're pressuring Aunt Natsui to explain it and claiming that she must be guilty if she doesn't.
それがまかり通るってんだな。
If you want
こ
to
の後ろ宮バトラ。
twice in a row. If you want to go down that road, then why don't you let me?
ここでもう一回。
Oh
チェス
shit.
盤をひっくり返させてもらおうじゃねえか。
Yushiromiya battler, spin the chessboard around one more time.
エヴァおばさん、あんたの論法によるならよ。
God, he even did the like Phoenix Wright finger point thing there. Aunt Eva, according to your own argument,
あんたと秀吉おじさんが昨日親父たち6人を殺害してからのこのことゲストハウスに帰ったんじゃないってことをこの場で釈明してもらわなくちゃならねえぜ。
you must explain to us why you and Uncle Hideyoshi couldn't have killed those 6 last night, and then casually returned to the guest house.
夏日おばさんに釈明を強いたんだ。
You've been trying to force Aunt Natsui to explain.
あんたにはもちろん自身の潔白を釈明できるんだろうな。
So I'm sure you can prove your own innocence, right?
じいさまの遺産が全部転がり込むエヴァおばさんよ。
Especially now that all of grandfather's wealth has suddenly plopped down right into your hands.
そうだ
ぜ。エヴァおばさんだって十分怪しいじゃねえかよ。
That's right. You're suspicious enough yourself, aren't you?
母さんがじいさまの最終目撃者だから怪しいって言うなら、
If you say mom's suspicious because she was the last person to see him,
エヴァおばさんだって父さんたちの最終目撃者じゃないか。
then what about you, Aunt Eva, the last person to see Dad and the rest?
バトラの言う通りだぜ。自分たちは殺してないってことを証明してみせろよ。
Just like Battler said, prove that you two weren't the ones who killed them.
僕もお母さんの推理は少し勇み足だと思うな。
Damn. Oh, I should read it probably first. I need to get better at that. I need to read the line because I'm obviously reading it a bit before I read it while it's being said by the VAs. I need to get better at reading it and then reacting out loud reading. Mother, I also think your reasoning was a little overeager. I was gonna say Eva can't even get her own son on her side. Like, even George is like, hey.
レシートの件は確かに重要なヒントだと思う。
I'm sure the receipt was an important hint.
でもそれはバトラ君の言う通り、夏日おばさんが何がしかの犯人であることを断定できるものじゃない。
But, like Badler-kun said, that's not enough to prove that Aunt Natsui was responsible for some plot.
僕たちは等しく全員が容疑者なんだ。
We're all equally suspicious.
夏日おばさんだけが責められる道理はない。
It's not right for only Aunt Natsui to be persecuted.
誇り高きお父様が床に這いつくばってベッドの下に。
Our proud father crawling under his bed?
そんなざれ言で説明がつくと思って。
You call nonsense like that an explanation?
それならエヴァおばさんが先に説明しろよ。
In that case, why don't you explain first?
特任を誰がどうやって殺して、そして自分が関わっていないという証拠を示してみろってんだ。
Who killed those 6, and how, and then try showing us proof that you weren't involved. Oh my god. Cough. Cough. She's... someone give her the Heimlich or clear her wind passages somehow. I don't know. What is happening? Oh my god. Cough. She's dying. Damn. Milady. Jessica suddenly started coughing. At first, I thought she was just choking after yelling too loud, but before long, I realized how painful it looked. Jessica kept coughing and choking, down on her hands and knees.
ジェシカ、しっかり。
Jessica, hang in there.
南條先生。
Dr. Nanjo.
ジェシカさん、吸入器を早く。
Jessica-san, your inhaler, quickly.
私が持ってきているのがあります。
No, wait, I have one with me. Dr. Nanjo pulled a bronchodilator. I've never heard it referred to as that. Inhaler from his own bag, it wasn't a bronchodilator. I shouldn't have stumbled so much. God, yeah, just like at some point, there's sometimes when I'm reading this and I'm like, if I stumble over a word, I just sound so dumb. Oh God. Inhaler from his own bag, which was lying on the sofa, and handed it to Jessica. Come to think of it, 6 years ago, didn't Jessica sometimes break into violent coughing fits and have to use that? However, 6 years ago, I never saw Jessica look like she was in this much pain.
兄貴、ジェシカってこんなに喘息ひどかったっけ？
Aniki, was Jessica's asthma always this bad?
ここ数年でだいぶ悪くなったんだよ。
It's gotten a lot worse these last few years.
大丈夫な時はいいんだけどね。
It's no problem when she's normal.
突然発作が来ると咳が止まらなくなるんだよ。
But when an attack comes suddenly, she can't stop coughing anymore. Jesus.
お嬢様、お薬です。
Milady, your medicine.
さあ。
Here. In the interest of preserving my own voice and throat, I'm not going to replicate the coughing noises. I apologize. Cough, cough. Taking the inhaler from Canon-kun, Jessica used it with a practiced hand. It looked like her throat would still itch for a while, but she had it under control.
大丈夫かよ、ジェシカ。
Oh, are you okay, Jessica?
びっくりしたぜ。
You scared me.
大したことねえよ。
It's no big deal. I was just dying.
すんじゃねえぜ。
I was just thrown to the ground by my own coughing fit. Don't worry about it. Beads of sweat covered Jessica's whole body. She couldn't hide her rough breathing, but it looked like her sudden attack had calmed down for now. This disturbance had made the dangerous atmosphere up until now seem slightly unfocused. But that's fine. That kind of battle of mutual suspicion is completely unnecessary. When you think about it, finding alibis for each other and looking for the culprit is probably meaningless. Yeah! Umineko! Let's fucking go! After all, we're just powerless, ordinary people. And when the police come tomorrow, they'll definitely employ cutting-edge techniques to investigate the case thoroughly. Solving all of the riddles and arresting the culprit. Oh yeah, I'm sure the...
確かにバトラ君の言う通りかしら。
I'm sure the cops won't fuck this up, find a way to fuck this up somehow. I'm sure they would get this correct immediately. Perhaps Battler-kun is right after all.
夏日姉さんが疑わしいように、私たちも疑わしさを拭えていない。
Just as Natsumi-san is suspicious, I can't ignore the fact that I'm suspicious too.
それを今議論し合うのは確かに不毛ね。
Arguing about that now will surely be unproductive.
明日、警察に全てを任せれば済むだけの話よ。
Everything will be fine if we just leave it to the police tomorrow.
でも、バトラ君だって知りたいんじゃないの？
But don't you want to know too, Battler-kun?
犯人を。
Who the culprit is?
大切な人を失った痛みを思い知らせてやるために、1秒でも早く知りたいんじゃない？
Don't you want to let them know the pain you feel from losing someone precious to you as soon as possible?
それ
Oh,
は
she's
否定
trying
しない
so
です
hard. She's trying so hard to get him on her side. At least not on necessarily on her side, but on the side of, hey, we need to enact justice. Which just makes the thing that she was saying about like, oh, we'll just wait, like, she didn't really mean it. She didn't care. She didn't care. I won't deny that.
これだけの上等を決めてくれやがった野郎を、たとえ一日であったとしてものさばらしたくはない。
Even one day would be too long to let the wonderful bastard who's behind this go.
でもだからといって18人の中の誰かを疑いたくはない。
Yeah, she's such a snake, but like, I can't help but feel like she's evil like this, which takes her out of the running of actually committing any actual evil things. Like it's too easy to pin it on her. You know what I mean? Like that's what the writers want you to do. The writers want you to think Eva is so bad that like that she would never actually, like, she didn't actually do anything bad. She's the person you love to hate. And so like the fool reading this would be like, oh, Eva's of course is the mastermind and is doing some bad shady shit. But I think it's too simple of an explanation. But that doesn't mean that I want to suspect one of the 18.
さっきはああ言ったが、俺はエヴァおばさんだって疑いたくない。
Oh yeah, I know. I was using mastermind maybe the wrong way. I just mean like, yeah, you're right though. Yeah, she is a perfect snake, and she's the type of character you probably ask her, she'd be like, yeah, she would own up to it. She'd be like, yeah, I am like that. Even though I said what I said earlier, I don't want to suspect you, Aunt Ava.
俺にとってのエヴァおばさんはちゃめっ気があっていつも楽しくさせてくれる最高のおばさんだ。
To me, you're an awesome aunt who's always fun and playful.
そんなおばさんとこんな罵り合いはしたくねえ。
My body was having like a violent reaction to reading that sentence. I don't want to trade insults with an aunt like that.
ここにいる誰だってそんなことは望んでねえはずさ。
I wouldn't want to do that with anyone here.
だろ
Right?
みんな。
Everyone?
バトラ君に同じ
I feel the same way as Badler-kun.
意味のない罵り合いだね。
It's pointless to trade insults.
多分これだけの人数が朝から一ところにずっと集まってるから
It's
みんな
probably...
ストレスが溜まってるんだよ。
Damn it, George! It's probably just the stress built up because so many people have been crammed in one place since morning.
でしょうな。
Yeah, he's like, you know, he shows up to this family, like, reunion. What was it? Once every 6 years or so. And he's like, oh, man, I just know you, despite all of this, you know, the way you've been acting this whole day, this last couple of days. I know you as the cool aunt. Don't ruin it for me. Nanjo says, probably.
無理もないことです。
Oh, thanks so much for the follow. It is only natural.
言ってできるものではありませんが、なるべく皆さんリラックスしましょう。
It may not be my place to say it, but I think we should all relax as much as possible.
Eva,
Ava,
わしらも頭を冷やすべきとちゃうか。
I think we'd better cool our heads too.
レシートの件は確かにお父さんの失踪を探る上で重要な手がかりになると思うで。
The receipt's definitely a big clue for figuring out how father disappeared.
警察が来たら話すといいやろ。
We should tell the police about it when they come.
そうね
That's right.
そう
Right.
レシートの一件でつい鬼の首を取ったような気持ちになっちゃったのね。
I just felt a little triumphant when I figured out that part with the receipt.
確かに夏日姉さんだけを疑うのはフェアじゃないわ。
Wow, is she really calming down now after all that? She was at 100%. She was full on combative mode, and now she's like, you know what? I lost my cool there. Don't mind me. Everything's chill. Of course, it isn't fair to only suspect Natsui Nissan, right?
私たちだって等しく疑わしい。
We're just as suspicious.
でもねバトラ君、
But still, Badler-kun,
レシートの話だけは本当よ。
at least the part about the receipt is real, okay?
これ忘れないでね。
Don't forget it. so fucking fast.
そしてこれがどういう意味を持つか、もう一度よく考えてみてね。
And try thinking deeply about what it means one more time, okay? Dots. More dots. Aunt Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi stood up. It looked like they planned on leaving the parlor.
結局私たちはこんな推理ごっこしても意味はないのよ。
In the end, it's pointless for us to keep playing detectives.
だってどうせ警察が全て明かしてくれるんですもの。
After all, the police will reveal everything anyway. So much faith in the police force. Wild. That's right. Even if we don't play this detective game, the typhoon will pass. And when those lively seagulls return to the harbor, everything will settle itself. That's right. If you think about it, this kind of crime is completely trivial. It will definitely be resolved. Bet? Dude, the moment this game says it will definitely be resolved, ... I'm not so sure about that one. That's like so foreboding. Even if we do nothing, when the seagulls cry,
これ以上夏日姉さんも私の顔を見ていたくはないでしょ
Natsumi-san, I take it you don't want to see my face anymore.
私も同じよ。
I feel the same.
確か姉さんは昨日ゲストハウスに帰らなくて済むようにって客室を用意してくれたのよね。
Damn, I feel the same. What a phrase to tack on to this. Like this starts off as like, I take it you don't want to see my face anymore, like almost as like a half apology, and then she goes, I feel the same. Basically just like, nah, fuck you too. If I remember correctly yesterday, you had some rooms prepared for us in the mansion so that we wouldn't need to go back to the guest house, right?
あそこはバスもトイレもあるし、鍵もチェーンもかかる。
Those should each have a bath and a toilet, as well as a lock and a chain to secure that door, or the door.
横になれるベッドもあるし、主人もマリアちゃんとチャンネル争いをせずにテレビを見ることができるわ。
There is even a bed to lie on, and my husband will be able to watch TV without having to fight with Maria-chan over which TV to, or which channel to watch, right? More dots.
お好きになさるといいでしょ
Do whatever you want,
う。でも、くれぐれも用心を。
but make sure to be cautious.
ありがとう、姉さん。
Thank you, Nissan.
そして余計なお世話よ。
And mind your own business. Damn, dude. Eva. I love and hate you so much.
姉さんはみんなの監視をよろしくね。
I'll be counting on you to keep an eye on everyone, okay?
犯人はこの中に必ずいるんだから。
Because the culprit is definitely here.
そして姉さんも自分が監視をされていることをお忘れなく。
And Nissan, make sure you don't forget to keep an eye on yourself, too. Alright, here we go. We got the thinly veiled threats. We got the threats coming out. Have you finished taking your parting shots?
十分よ。
Yes, I'm finished.
じゃあね、夏日姉さん。
See you, Natsumi-san. Alright, between this, who wins this fight? If you had to pick a winner, who wins the verbal exchange that we've seen over, I mean, today and the last stream of this? Honestly, it's tough. It's tough because Natsui got a bunch of backup. So, she had to stand down just because she was outnumbered, basically. But man, did she just keep getting some body shots in there. Oh god. She was definitely the aggressor. She was the attacker. She was on defense most of that time and then had backup. Mostly just calmed down the whole situation. Oh man, Eva.
源氏さん、夕食
She
に
knows
な
how
っ
to
たら
fight.
呼んでね。
Genji-san, let us know when it's time for dinner.
それまでチェーンをかけて閉じこもってるわ。
Until then, we'll lock ourselves in with the chain. He's like, I don't know if I want to be in there with you. He's like, why am I being dragged in with you?
源氏、
Genji, Cannon,
お二人を客室までお送りを。
escort them to the guest room.
結構よ。
We'll be fine.
送り狼なんて嫌だもの。
I hate shady escorts.
むしろ私たちが部屋に行くまで誰もこの部屋を出ないでくれる方が安心よ。
In fact, I'd be more comfortable if nobody leaves this room until we reach ours.
ジョージ行くわよ。
Let's go, George.
僕はここでみんなといるよ。
I'll stay here with everyone. Damn, George is like, fuck you.
ジョージ、
Fuck you, it's Sunday. George,
この部屋に犯人がいるのよ。
the culprit is in this room.
そんなところにいるつもり？
Do you plan on staying in a place like that?
この部屋を出るということは親族の誰かを疑うのと同じことだよ。
Leaving this room would be the same as suspecting one of my relatives.
僕はあんな恐ろしいことができる人間が親族にいるなんて信じない。
I Can't believe anyone in our family is capable of something that horrible.
ジョージ
George!
あなたからも言ってやってよ
Darling, you tell him too.
ジョージももう一人前の男や。
George is already an adult man.
そのジョージの仁義がこの部屋から出えへん言わせるなら、それも勝手やろ。
If his code tells him not to leave this room, then it's up to him.
好きにさせたれ。
Let him do what he wants.
父さん
Father. God, Eva just lost. There we go. No, Eva lost. She lost. Her own son was like, no. And then Hideyoshi couldn't say no because he's whipped. But, like... Aunt Eva and Uncle Hideyoshi left. The only voice that called after them was the sound of the rain. The parlor was being buried underneath a savage atmosphere. When I looked at the clock, I was surprised to find that it was already evening. Had we really spent that much time worrying about needless things? Talking with each other? Fighting with each other? Feeling bored, I started scratching at my head when... Oh, no. Oh, God! I forgot about Maria! Maria and I made eye contact. I was a little surprised, since I thought she was completely immersed in the TV.
今なら信じる
This face is just, yes, yeah, she's a gremlin, dude. God. She would be, I would, honestly, Natsui with a gun, Eva with her sharp tongue, nothing compared to Maria with the smug face. Maria with hand on hip and smug face, and she's gonna say some shit. Alright, I believe it now. Oh?
手紙も殺人もすべてベアトリーチェの仕業だ。
The letter, the murders, everything. It was all Beatrice.
いや、むしろ頼むからそうだと名乗り出てほしいぜ。
In fact, I almost feel like begging her to come out and take credit for it all.
19人目の仕業ってことにさせてくれ。
I want it to be the work of a 19th person.
じゃなきゃ、俺たち18人はいつまでも互いを疑い合わなくちゃならねえ。
Otherwise, the 18 of us will have to keep on suspecting each other.
これなら19人目の存在を信じる方がマシさ。
I think believing in a 19th person is better than that.
扉も窓も開けずにじいさまを外へ連れ出すなんて。ベアトリーチェならお茶の子さいさいなんだろう。
Bringing grandfather outside without opening the doors or windows must be a piece of cake for Beatrice, right? Maria, after taking a single short breath, hung her head, and then raised her face again. Oh, God. Oh, it is not. We just can't get a normal Maria moment anymore. No more. We've lost her. That's right.
魔女の前に扉の鍵なんて何の役にも立たないんだよ。
Locking a door is useless against a witch.
ベアトリーチェは72中のすべてに精通する。
Beatrice is familiar with all 72 demons.
33位のガープは望む相手を望む場所へ瞬時に運ぶ力を与えるし。
The 33rd ranked, Gap, gives the power to instantly carry the desired person to any location. What the fuck are you going on about?
彼女にとってどのような密室に閉じこもった人間だろうと連れ出すことは難しいことでも何でもないんだよ。
To her, taking a person out of any closed room isn't hard at all, you see. Okay, I'm about to say something that's gonna sound like I'm joking, but I'm not. This is immediately the time when Battler, or really anyone, should grab the gun from Natsui and just take Maria out. And I know, violence against children, bad. Violence against children, bad. Maria's just having an episode, bad. So what I'm saying probably sounds bad, but like, honestly, if he truly believes that a witch exists, and then Maria is like channeling like this weird, like what I would only describe as like a demonic spirit thing, I'd be like, all right, yes, we lose a child, but we've already lost so much family already today. We need to just, it's one of those things where, like, if you're in a group in a dire situation, the mental needs to be strong at that point. The mental of everyone still alive needs to survive. And you just gotta you gotta just, for potential future problems, just be like, all right, Maria, or at least threaten her with it. That sounds terrible. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. If I'm Battler, I'm so uneasy by this. I just went through Natsui and Eva going through this fight thing. Other family members dead. And then I have Maria literally making things just much more difficult. To her, taking a person out on a closed room isn't hard at all, you see. Yeah, literally, yeah, lock her in a closet. That's a good idea, too. Less violent. You're then assuming she isn't gonna, like, bust out somehow. But, yeah. Witches sure are incredible. Tell her, if she feels like committing another crime, to do it in a way that no human could. And make me believe that 19th person? No, a witch exists. Unless, alright, I'm short-sighted. Maybe he's like, if he does truly believe Beatrice exists, maybe he's thinking that she is the person to get to Beatrice through. So, like, you can't take out Jessica. You can't take out Maria, in the event that you could get to Beatrice through Maria. But that almost seems like wishful thinking on my end. Okay. If I meet her, I'll tell her. Fuck you, Maria. Crap. Nothing's made sense to me for a while now. Just when I want to believe in a 19th person, I deny it, and just when I want to believe there are only 18 people, I deny that too. Even though I want there to be more than just the 18 people here, I can't accept the existence of that 19th person. In short, even though there are more than 18 people, there are less than 19 people. Oh, there's 18 and a half. The number of people in this mansion is 19 is greater than X is greater than 18. Ah, yes. Ah, yes. I love this phrasing of the... the way to complicate, or the way to try to explain a complicated matter in his head, where he's like, oh, I can't justify, like, I'm not good at, or him explaining, like, I can't fully believe that there's 18, I can't fully believe there's 19. And then to represent it as like an algebra equation is very funny to me. So the number of people can't be represented by an integer. Now let's talk math. However, it's impossible for there to be anything after the decimal point. You shouldn't be able to show the number of people with anything but an integer. And yet, 19 is greater than X is greater than 18. How do you explain the fraction less than 1? It's no wonder. A 19th person was something that couldn't be seen. That's why, since you can only write that number of people as an integer, you couldn't see that person. That witch cannot be seen, because Beatrice has no body. Therefore, she's invisible. Is there a 19th person, or not? Does the witch exist, or not? 19 is greater than X. It's greater than 18. I don't know how else to read it. The witch exists somewhere in that X. She's somewhere in the X! Yeah. Yeah! 7 p.m., I believe. I don't think we're in the middle of the morning. Alright, we can go a little bit longer here for Umineko. It's a little too early to call it. The uncomfortable atmosphere continued even after those two left. It was thick with the idea that simply thinking about the culprit's identity would be the same as deciding whom to suspect. It had begun to feel like discussion of the case was itself taboo. So no one mentioned the case, at least out loud. However, those thoughts were what filled our minds. Stumbled there. All that we couldn't say aloud made our heads feel like they were going to explode. So, at least on the outside, the parlor had once again regained its calm mood. Everything was left unsettled.
少しだけ雨足が弱まった気がするね。
It feels like the rain's gotten a little lighter. Ooh.
まだいっぱい降ってるよ。
Still pouring down.
おー
Ooh.
仮にやんだってこの島には船がねえんだしな。
Even if it did stop, there's no boat on this island.
船が明日すぐに来てくれりゃいいんだがよ。
But it'd be nice if that boat came quickly tomorrow.
洋館バカンさんもうお腹いっぱいだぜ。
I've had enough of this Western mansion vacation.
母さん、明日船はいつ来るのかな。
Mom, when will the boat come tomorrow?
本来なら帰りの船は今日の3時に来てくれることになっていました。
Normally, the boat to take them back would arrive at 3 o'clock today.
先方も台風が過ぎてから来直すと電話をしてくれたでしょうが、あいにく電話は普通ですから。
They probably sent us a phone call to say that they would come after the typhoon passed, but unfortunately the phones aren't working.
でも向こうも子供の使いではありません。
But they aren't children over there.
客人の方々の送迎目的だと教えてありますから。
They were told to both drop off and collect our guests.
おそらく明日の朝一番で、
So they'll most likely arrive first thing tomorrow morning.
多分9時頃くらいに来てくれるでしょう。
Probably about 9 o'clock, I believe. It was completely black outside. When I looked at the clock, I realized it was just past 7 o'clock. I was starting to get hungry. In the kitchen, Kumasawa was cooking enthusiastically. She had laid out a variety of dishes, and while that didn't match the level of Goda's artful cooking, they were still quite gorgeous. It was an act of kindness from Kumasawa, who was trying to enliven everyone's low spirits with some food. Kumasawa wasn't nearly as talented as a professional cook like Goda, but she was far from unskilled. On the contrary, since she had been brought up in a fishing village, the simple food she created was sometimes highly praised. Cannon arranged the food Kumasawa had finished creating on plates under her direction. Cannon also helped in the kitchen sometimes, but since he was rarely placed in that role, he was slightly awkward, even though he tried his best. He's trying his best. Self-conscious about the fact that he couldn't cleverly arrange the food, Cannon's expression darkened slightly. But Kumasawa smiled as though everything was fine.
きれいに盛り付けられてますよ。
It's arranged beautifully.
カノン君もお上手ですよ。
Cannon-kun, aren't you skilled?
シャノン姉さんだったら
If it had been Shannon-san,
もっと綺麗に。
it would look even more beautiful. Cannon stopped arranging the food for a bit and hung his head. Shannon was the one who was always assisted Kumasawa in the kitchen. Tonight, Cannon was doing it instead. 'Cause Shannon's dead. And as he remembered Shannon's face and her brutal end, he grimaced.
今は忘れなさい。
Forget that for now. Genji spoke kindly to Cannon as he advanced upon. Nanjo had escaped from the parlor once the mood had grown sour, and Genji had become his opponent in a game of chess upon Nanjo's request.
はい、
Yes,
今は忘れます。
I will forget it now. Indeed,
それがいいだろう。
that is probably for the best. Genji purposely refrained from facing Cannon as he spoke. He did so because he understood that it might make things tougher on Cannon if he noticed that someone was looking at his eyes. Nanjo also understood that and held back any thoughtless words.
金蔵さんもどこへ行かれたんでしょうな。
I wonder where Kinzo-san has gone.
ご無事だといいのですが。
I hope that he is safe, but
わかりません。
I do not know.
ただ、 全ては親方様が望まれ仕組まれたことのように思っています。
However, I believe everything has proceeded as the master had hoped and arranged for.
それを邪推することは親方様にお仕えする家具には過ぎたことです。
To distrust that would exceed my role as furniture in service to the master.
源氏さんは怖くないのですか？
Aren't you scared, Genji-san?
私には今夜まだ何か
I am
良く
frightened.
ないことが起こるような気がして
I am
怖いの
frightened.
です。
Oh my god. I can't. I'm frightened that something bad will occur again tonight.
怖いことなど何も。
I mean, if we're going by the epitaph thing, is someone else gonna die, or are we just gonna keep? We're gonna lose another person, at least. I have nothing to be afraid of.
私はただ後ろ宮家にお仕えするだけですので。
I serve the Ishiromiya family, and that is all. Nanjo sighed through his nose and made a carefully considered move. Nanjo was very slightly dubious. Could Genji possibly be thinking that he'd be left out of this? He couldn't even imagine what was happening inside this mansion, but he definitely couldn't deny the possibility that Kinzo had devised something. If you liken this island to chess, Kinzo had opened the game, and as a result, 6 pieces had been defeated. Could it be that Genji was calm because he believed he alone was on the outside of the chessboard, and therefore safe? Nanjo thought about it. Isn't everyone just a piece on this chessboard, lined up equally, without any exceptions? Wasn't even Genji, who had gained more of Kinzo's trust than anyone? No. Who was confident of his position as Kinzo's only close friend? Just another one of the pieces laid out on the chessboard?
源氏さん、
Genji-san.
私は今夜が本当に怖いのです。
I am truly frightened about tonight.
無事に明日の朝を迎えられることを心より願っています。
I hope with all my heart that we will still be safe when tomorrow morning comes. Alright, let's call it there. Because if we go much further, I'm assuming I'm going to be stuck in this for a bit. So we'll call it here. A little bite-sized Umineko. Like I said, we'll probably be hitting Umineko every day this week up until I leave. So that's why I feel a bit more comfortable going a little short on here. I do want to still move to Disco Elysium. So I'm going to throw up a BRB. I'm going to get some water. Some more water. And then we'll play Disco Elysium for, again, like an hour or so. So let me save before I forget. I will save. You know what? I'll conserve some spaces. Look at that. And I always forget like how to get out of here. Throwing up a BRB, and I will be back with Disco. I'll get that all loaded up.